I never made more than like 40, 50K a year out of college, and that's pre-tax. So I was broke. So I packed up my car, drove like 1,200 miles away. That's where I kind of learned how to like talk to people, network, do customer service, write blogs.
All right, so today we're meeting up with Scott. He makes $50,000 a month making videos, and he's gonna show us exactly how he does it. So yeah, tell me about what you do. What do you run?
Yeah, so we run, basically it's a productized service for B2B SaaS companies. So think about like an agency service, except you're able to buy it kind of like an e-commerce product. So it's short animated videos for B2B SaaS companies to run as paid ads and get customers in the door.
What's a typical client for who we work with?
We work with software companies that are primarily B2B. So they have platforms, like if you think of Stripe, like a payment processor or something like that, and they're typically also funded. So an important part about selling something like a productized service is making sure that the people have the money to actually buy what you're selling. So we found that companies that are VC backed or have gone through like seed and Series A funding, they typically have the money to purchase what we're selling. So that's what works best for us.
And companies want this because it helps sell more of their product or helps their brand market better.
The main goal with the videos is not necessarily to directly get our clients more customers. It's more so to get the potential customers to like stop scrolling or to maybe go book a demo or something like that.
Right.
It's more of like the scroll stopper, some people call it, where it's super attention grabbing, but it doesn't give you enough information to actually like go buy the service or product.
Tell me a little bit more about your background. You were doing actual video agency work?
Yeah, so I've done everything. I've done like music videos, event recaps. You know, me and a friend used to shoot weddings and just like basically everything. I've also been a designer, built websites, all this stuff. And for me, video is what really stuck. And then it was hard for me to scale, and it was hard to get work. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I ended up stumbling onto Twitter and meeting, a lot of the people, what they call like money Twitter, right? And that's really all about how can you take what you already know how to do, which for me was the video production stuff, and monetize it at a higher level. And then that's when I kind of got into all of the technical business stuff.
Did you go to college or anything like that?
I went for 2 months and dropped out, I think.
Wow. Why did you drop out? What happened?
Yeah, so I ended up meeting this guy, and he's like, hey, I'm starting this business in Colorado. We're gonna try to like help people manage vacation rental properties. Like, I think you'd be a good fit for it. So I packed up my car, drove like 1,200 miles away. I hadn't had any actual business experience prior to that, but that's where I kind of learned how to like talk to people, network, do customer service, write blogs, stuff like that. That was in 2019, I think. So I was 19 when I did that.
So now you're only like what, 24?
23, yeah. I didn't really make any money until the last like year. Even though I tried all this stuff after college, I mean, it was all just learning. I never made more than like 40, 50K a year out of college. So I mean, and that's pre-tax. So I was broke, the 3.5 years after I left. But I was able to leverage my skills. And this is something for like a lot of people too that they can use, is like, if you have a specific skill, if you can find ways not just to make money with it, but like for me, for example, because of the video stuff, I've gotten to like go shoot at NASCAR in the pit and just a bunch of cool stuff. Even though I wasn't getting paid very well for that, it was stuff that I was able to add to my resume of just things that you're able to do.
Has video always been your passion?
I've been doing video since 2016, and it started off actually as I opened up Adobe Illustrator junior year of high school to make like these presentations for some business class I was in, and then that evolved into me getting a camera and trying out photography, and then photography got boring, so I tried out video. And then now it's kind of an intersection of all of them with what I'm doing, because it's like design, but it's moving and all that stuff. But really, personally, like I enjoy anything creative. So I've painted, I used to like play some instruments, just really anything like that.
So your business took off. and you said you're making $50,000 a month now, is that right?
Yeah, on average. It bounces around a little bit with any business, right? Like it could be like 35, then it could be like 55, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on your lead flow and stuff.
Sure.
But
You know, before that you were making maybe $50,000 a year and you grew it to pretty much 10x that. Was there any mindset shift or was there anything that really set this business apart from others?
if I was gonna choose one thing, it would be switching from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And it sounds really, I guess, like cheesy or like woo-woo or whatever. If you make the shift to taking those same resources, again, whether it's money, the knowledge, network you have, right? And just full on like utilizing them to try to produce more of what you have and grow that, I think the whole game changes.
Before this business, you had kind of a lot of creative type jobs. You were doing video. How could someone who is also creative, an artist, a videographer, anyone in doing production, how can they turn that into a business and be able to work for themselves?
Speaking from what worked for me, I think that the biggest thing, one, get on social media, right? And I'll use Twitter as an example because that's, again, what worked for me. So what I would do is be posting every day, sit down for an hour, schedule it out, be consistent, and write things or make reels or whatever you're gonna do about things specific to what you're doing are. So if it's video, make educational content for brands about how they can get more customers in the door with video, right? 'Cause that's kind of what I did. And then once you have that down, once you're consistently posting, you get a feel for it, and you're learning about the specific platform that you're posting to, then that's when you can start actually selling a service. What works best for that is the productized model we talked about. So again, if you're doing something like video, right, there's a ton of different things you could do. You could design thumbnails for YouTube. You could do an on-demand video editing service. You could do a color grading service, right? And come up with like a specific offer and packages to sell, or some kind of offer structure where, let's say your main package is $3,000 a month. Then you can have a downsell or an upsell or whatever, right? And so what that might look like is certain deliverables inside of a package. And a deliverable would be like, we'll color grade this many videos in this specific way for this amount of money. If you can have a service that people need, is recurring, and you can find the people who have the money to buy it, then there's really no stopping you.
Yeah. And you think that's more effective than just, I guess, selling your time to do some video work for a few hours?
100%. Packaging your skill set is much more effective because you're in control of what you're charging. You're being paid for your expertise, not your actual time. Mm-hmm. So if you had an A person and a B person and they both had 10 years of experience, maybe you say A person is getting paid hourly, even if it's $500 an hour, right? Like they're a lawyer or something. And then B person is selling a productized service. They're still gonna make 10 times more because they could sell what person A is doing for $500 an hour. Maybe it takes them 10 hours. And then person B can then charge $5,000, give them the same result. And so technically person A and person B are being compensated the same, but person B can go and then hire people to help them fulfill that, right? Yep. And so it's just this whole scaling thing is where you make the real money.
Do you have any employees or is it just you?
Yeah, so I started off by myself and now we have a team of about 4. So I don't have any full-time employees, but I have like a couple full-time contractors and then some like a closer and fractional roles that help me do certain things operationally. Yeah. And my team is also international as well.
How does that work?
It's great because, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but they get paid, more than they would make where they are. And my team's pretty young too, like younger than me. So it's cool to be able to give people, like back when I was 18, like I would have loved to be doing what they're doing now. Yeah. And so it's cool to bring that full circle and be able to pay someone what they're worth, more than they would make where they live. They can work remote. They're not my employees, so they take trips and stuff and take work off. So that's been enjoyable too.
And how do you find really good talent?
There's a lot of ways, but when you start building an audience, people will naturally want to work for you because they believe in what you're doing and they think that what you're doing is cool. So all the people that are working for me right now reached out to me, and the reason I hired them is because I know if they're reaching out to me that they're really dedicated and motivated to get done what they want to do, and it's turned out to be true so far.
Yeah.
So.
How much does it cost to run your business, like generally speaking, monthly?
So we have a tech stack that is, and then there's also payment processing fees and stuff like that. In terms of like labor, it's hard to put a pin on that because it's completely dependent on how many videos we're doing. Our gross profit margins are about 65%, and then net is probably between 40 and 50, just depending on a couple things. But in terms of the tech stack is really the only one thing that we consistently spend money on on a monthly basis.
What do you mean by tech stack?
So we have the cold email sending software, the software that we run the list through. I have to pay for Slack. We use Stripe, which is free, but we pay the fee on that. Techstack specifically is probably like $1,200 a month. And that's just what we use to be able to actually execute the services that we sell.
Right. I noticed you mentioned building an audience. What does that look like for you?
Just posting consistently. And finding a niche too. When you think of a niche, like it has to be really specific, like super specific. So at first it was just videos for me, and then it became short videos, like no longer than 60 seconds, right? And then it became short videos for online brands, and then it went to short videos for online brands that are B2B SaaS companies.
Did you see the business grow when you kept niching down like that?
Yes, because it made it very obvious like who our product was for. It's counterintuitive too, because like the more people you say like, no, you're not a fit, then the faster you'll find people that will actually buy from you.
Have you been able to raise your prices because of this niching down that you've done?
Yeah, the first video we sold was $500, and we've basically 10x our prices. So now our average order value is like $3K, but we just introduced some new packages that have been selling really well, from anywhere from 6 to 12.
What advice would you have just for anyone that wants to get started with an online business? What's the first step?
Do things like go on YouTube and do research on what you actually want to do. And then I would spend as much money as you can afford on coaching and programs that are fit on what direction you want to go, from people that are reputable, not Lambo gurus. This is where I get a lot of my work done. We got the nice aperture light set up here and trusty old 16-inch MacBook Pro. So we actually coincidentally just closed the deal right as we started filming this. So
nope, just got a $400 sale.
We got starter story is a good luck charm. So we're gonna send this contract out and then talk a little bit about how we got here in the first place.
You said you'd grown it from 0 to 50,000 pretty much in a year. What did that look like? Did you start with just like 5,000 a month? How did that grow?
We kind of started how we are still now, but we sophisticated our offer. So before it was, you'll buy one video, it'll basically be whatever length, and it's a flat fee. Essentially what we did now is we created a package. So you're not only buying, you can still buy one video, but we use this as a downsell now if someone doesn't want to buy the package. What the package is, it's a set of videos, and then we reformat that set of videos so that people can run it on all the platforms and things like that. And then we also will set up retargeting ads for them. We won't run them, but we'll do a bunch of setup and stuff like that so that it's an offer that's more inclusive of what the end goal is rather than just here is a video. It actually sets them up for success.
So when you started repackaging your offering like that, is that when you started to see the growth?
In terms of, I guess, like financially, yeah, because in terms of monthly like revenue, it was like 7K, then 5K, then 9K, and then we went to like 12, 23, 33, and I would say we introduced that offer when we were struggling to get above like 12K a month because it just wasn't, the one videos weren't sophisticated enough and the ticket price wasn't high enough to bring us past that threshold.
How did you find your first customer? What's been your main channel for growth?
Yeah, so there's been a couple different ones. Some work better than others, but primarily we've done Twitter, we've done cold email, we've done like direct DMing, so like on Sales Navigator on LinkedIn or through Twitter. And really, I mean, keeping it simple, like it's just really cold outreach and then the organic content reaching out to people on the platform.
For the viewers who don't know a lot about cold outreach, what does that typically look like? Like how many cold emails are you sending, and what's like your lead response rate, that sort of stuff?
You got to send a lot. And for our ICP, which stands for Ideal Customer Profile specifically, the open rate or reply rate for software is only about, they're two different things. The reply rate is really only like